Everyone, welcome to Cooking with Shesha. Um, for the next coming weeks, we are going to start putting our clubs into videos so that you guys can do them at home on your own time. So for Baking and Cooking Club, I am going to pick some recipes with ingredients that you probably would have at home. So for today, we are making 4-ingredient peanut butter cookies. I will post a picture of this recipe, so if you miss some steps, no worries, I will post a picture. But for our 4 ingredients today, we have creamy peanut butter, sugar, 2 eggs, which I have already cracked them in a bowl to make my life easier, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So very simple. Most of you should have these ingredients at home, so hopefully you'll be able to join in and make them. So I'm going to get started mixing things up and get these in the oven. So I'm going to start with the 1 1/4 cup of creamy peanut butter. I've got myself a measuring cup down here, so I'm just using a spatula because the peanut butter is really sticky, and so it's much easier to get it measured out of the jar with a rubber spatula. If you don't have a rubber spatula, a knife, a spoon, anything like that will work just fine. Things about this recipe is that you're just going to mix all of it into one bowl. So just get yourself a big mixing bowl, plastic, glass, metal, doesn't matter, whatever you got at your house, that'll work. So I've got my peanut butter measured out here into the cups. So we've got my 1 cup of peanut butter, kind of thickened, so I got to get it all out. Make sure you get every little bit of it because, I mean, peanut butter is yummy, so you need all of it. There's my 1 cup. And then we've got our 1/4 cup here. Drop that in. Okay, so there's our peanut butter. Next, we've got 1 cup of sugar. So in another mixing cup, or if you only have so many mixing cups, obviously just rinse out your peanut butter one or start with the sugar, because obviously that won't stick to your mixing cup. So you could start with the sugar and then measure out your peanut butter. Doesn't matter the order that the ingredients go in. So I'm going to measure out 1 cup of sugar. Almost there. Just a little bit more. Perfect. So pour that in with the peanut butter. And then we need our 2 eggs. So since I already cracked mine into a bowl, I'm just going to go ahead and dump those in. And then we need our 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So here we go. And I only have a 1/2 teaspoon, so that's why I'm doing this 4 times. I'm not adding extra vanilla. I'm just doing 2 teaspoons. Okay, there's that. So now we've got it all in one bowl. And I am going to be using a whisk. If you have a mixer at home, you can use a mixer at home. It would probably make it look a little bit easier just with the peanut butter. But I'm just going to use a whisk because I'm hoping that it'll be okay. If not, I'll grab out my mixer. So I'm going to keep my spatula handy that I used for the peanut butter. Because obviously as you're mixing it, I'll show you my whisk, it's all like stuck in the middle. So about halfway through mixing it, you're going to want to pause and clean out the middle of your whisk or whatever it is that you're using to mix with, so that you can make sure that all the ingredients are getting obviously well mixed together. So you don't want them getting stuck inside whatever it is that you're mixing and not really get mixed in well, because you want all of those yummy ingredients to make your cookies. So I'm gonna mix this one more time. Make sure I've got everything good to go. If your stuff is sticking to the sides, take that same spatula and just wipe down the sides of your bowl. Okay, so I've got this nice dough ready to go. So I'm gonna set that right here. And I'm gonna grab my baking sheets that I've got ready to go. And then for this recipe, it did say to grease your pan. So if you have cooking spray, you can use cooking spray and just lightly spray the pan. If you don't feel like it's evenly distributed, grab a napkin, grab a paper towel, something like that to just kind of spread it more evenly along your pan. If you don't have cooking spray, you can use Crisco, same thing. Take a napkin, take a paper towel, wipe it on the pan. If you don't have either of those, butter and margarine will also work for greasing your pan. So there's your options. So I'm going to grease my pan here. Put that on there. Perfect. Okay. Now, for this recipe, I set it to do it by teaspoons. So if you just take regular kitchen spoons like you would use to eat your food with, then you can scoop out the dough and I'm going to use 2 spoons, so I can use one to scoop and the other one to slide the dough off of. So I'll move my camera here a little bit so you can see how I do this. So there's my spoonful of dough. I'm going to use this other spoon just to move it onto the pan. And there is your cookie. That's all you got to do. So now I'm just going to do this with the rest of the dough. So I'm done. Make sure that you keep them spaced out. You don't want them to become one massive cookie. So I try to put at least like an inch to an inch and a half between each cookie, just to make sure that there's enough space, So I was able to fit 10 cookies on my sheet by organizing them this way. So I did 3 rows of 3 and 2 rows of 2. So I've got a little bit of dough left, so I'm going to put the rest of those on another pan and then we'll get these in the oven. I was able to get a whole nother pan of 10 cookies out of the dough that I had left. When I started baking, I had already started preheating my oven, so I've stuck those 2 pans in the oven. We're going to give it the 13 minutes that the recipe calls for, and we're going to check on them then and see how they're doing. The cookies are out of the oven. Yay, exciting. I did end up having to add about 2 to 3 more minutes just to get them to that nice golden brown that the recipe said it should be. So obviously everyone's oven is different. So start at the 13 minutes and then check on them. If you don't think they're quite golden brown, then just add a couple minutes and then see if they're done. So I'm going to go ahead and let them cool and then get them off the pans. So here are the finished cookies all off the pans, and I have them finishing cooling on paper towels, as you can see. I like to use paper towels, especially with peanut butter cookies, just because sometimes there's like a lot of grease, and so it's nice to let them cool on paper towels to soak up some of that grease. You can also use cookie racks to cool them on there, but either way, it'll work. So hope you guys like this recipe and I hope you try it out and you'll have to let me know how it tastes.